So we are live. Hello everyone, this is Divine Edwards, aka Divine the Connector, connecting you, yes, you, to the knowledge that will empower yourself. Should have been in a brighter area, but it doesn't matter because we're going live. It's full moon, total lunar eclipse, and I feel like haven't been live for a while, and I feel like this is like a great time to share some insights on how we can empower ourselves, mind, body, and spirit moving forward with the energy that's coming through. And with that, it deals with duality and the ego. So releasing duality and balancing our ego. And I'm gonna get into that. So firstly, the first person might ask, "Oh, what is duality, Devan?" I was like, okay, let me break it down. So duality is a concept and experience of life, pretty much, where one chooses to judge people, places, or things, and in doing so, you take the side of either it's right or wrong. And in this life we're living, things are neither right nor wrong, but it's a matter of perception and whether it's an agreeable or disagreeable energy attached to it. So dualities, in a sense, or releasing dualities, is to release the illusion that we as individuals are somehow separated from our environment, somehow separated from our actions, or somehow separated from our even physical bodies, or from the people in our lives, when in actuality, our identities are composed of all of these aspects. And identity is attached to the ego, and I'm going to get into that. So with duality, it's like it's usually not something that is turned off or turned on like a switch. It's not something you just do at will. You don't just release it. But with duality comes attached with an ego and an ego consciousness. And you're either living from duality or you're living in unity. And that's living from the soul. And that starts from expanding our consciousness and releasing any judgments and any internal or external conflicts within every aspect of our lives that imbalance the consciousness of ego and unify all aspects of ourself. Because the goal really is to bring back all aspects of ourself, remember who we are, remember our power, unify that, and share that unity amongst people, our environments, and our interactions with the world we live in. So, someone's calling me. Never mind. But anyways, so let me give you some examples of dualities. So dualities can be dark, light. It can be low or high, female or male, cold or hot, water, fire, air and earth. So like elements. And these are manifestations of yin and yang, which I mentioned is agreeable and disagreeable energies. That's what yin and yang is, like the known term. And it's a perception that corresponds to good and evil, but the good and evil itself is interchangeable. And often, for some reason, it's actually disregarded. It disregards the idea of balance when that's the essence of it. And the key is literally to understand that these things are not opposites, but rather complementary to each other in their manifestations. And I remember saying in one of my poems called "The Self-Aware versus the Unaware," and I said, good and bad are not opposites; they're complementary. Because if experience was tea, and you drink a bad one, you now yearn for a good one. And so I got some notes here, so I'm gonna go through my notes because there's so much I actually want to unpack, but I'm gonna keep it short because I got some stuff to do, even though it's late. So yeah, let's talk about the yin and yang perception. So the yin and yang perception in terms of astrology. Yeah, is that Sebastian? Mad, how you doing, man? Quarantine next door. Appreciate it. So yeah, so the yin and yang perception can be found in terms of polarity and the astrology of polarity, and they're contrary forces that are interconnected and interdependent, not independent, interdependent, and they give rise to each other. So you know how you have the sun and the moon. You have this lunar eclipse, this full moon itself is giving rise to the things that we need to let go of, and bringing back what we was holding back to the forefront, because you can't really escape it. You think, again, remember I said at the beginning, is you're accepting this duality, but it's hindering you. It's not helping you unify your consciousness. It's not helping you expand your mind. You're thinking that these actions that you've taken are separate from you. They're not going to affect you. You're thinking the environment you're surrounding with, or the environment you're radiating in, or the environment that's surrounding you, or the people that's surrounding your circle are not impacting you, but they are. It's all connected, and it's a funny thing. And in terms of the yin and yang energy, it's said that like an individual's healthy state is brought by the right balance between yin and yang, the right balance between the agreeable and disagreeable energies, the right balance between our interactions with the environment, our interactions with our actions, the interactions with our physical body, our interactions with our spirit, our interactions with our mind. Because, I mean, who knows? Like, ask yourself this question, actually. Have you ever been too in your mind where you limited yourself, you limited your thoughts for 1 second, and then you just realized, oh wait, why am I saying this? This is not in alignment with my identity. This doesn't even make sense why I'm saying this. But it's that disagreeable energy coming through, and it's really like a nudge for you to get back on your, as the New Yorkers say, like, get back on your square. So pretty much become grounded, pretty much. Because that's what the four represents. The number 4, the frequency, represents grounding, and it's a master frequency. So how do you empower yourself? How do you actually balance this ego? Let me get into it. So you balance the ego by first knowing what the ego is. And this is funny because people will be like, oh, your ego is bad, kill the ego, edge God out, edge all these other things. But at the core of it, the ego is part of you. You can't edge yourself out. It's a facet of the ego is a facet of your physical personality, and its real destination, its real design, is to assist you in developing a sense of identity and individuality over time. And an outward a focused mind is guided by that ego. So all these desires and pursuits, these are actually stimulated by the ego self. So you can't really kill that. And why would you want to? Because it's actually helping you along your journey. So the real thing that people when they talk about ego or kill the ego, they're really talking about a misdirected ego, a disagreeable part of the ego. And the misdirected ego self is instrumental in creating the illusional belief system that we have on this material physical plane. And that's a reality based on separation, fear, selfishness, scarcity, spirit of lack. But it's based on an illusion, because that's not the reality. The reality is that we live in a world that's abundant. We live in a world that's very resourceful. We live in a world where we can share, and it share like we don't care. We live in a world where there's no scarcity, but we are given the belief system that these things exist. But when we have an inner knowing and an inner experience, which is faith, then we evolve beyond that belief system. And that's how you empower yourself. This is how you empower your ego, by expanding your mental horizons and beginning to break down the barriers of self-limiting perception. And if you want to find out more ways of that, definitely DM me or comment info in the comments below. I think my phone's about to die. I should have done this, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, so one of the ways, I'm just going to give you one quick tip. One of the ways in terms of empowering yourself or empowering your ego, really ask yourself the right questions. Like what am I holding back? What is coming to the forefront at this time? what in my life is coming at the forefront in this time? Is it exercise? Is it sleep? What is coming at the forefront in this time that I need to take care of? You know, for me, I mean, it was definitely resting more, hydrating more, and taking more action, pretty much, in a lot of things. And another thing that's actually helped me is a manifestation suite that I have. So if you want to even know about that, just let me know. But really, that's been helping me a lot in terms of this, because it helps me tap into the wisdom of what you call the sacred mind. And the sacred mind is found in your corpus callosum, and that's at the back of the brain. So that's the part that activates your consciousness. And when it's stimulated and activated, it activates more cells within the upper dimensional levels of your brain. So it's an interesting way of like expanding your mind, expanding your consciousness, and stimulating your brain. So I've actually had more frequent dreams which have revealed like messages or stuff like that, which I can take in action in real time. And it also it energizes and all these other great things. But I'm gonna leave you with that. So I want you to also put in the comments below, how will you release duality and balance ego in your life? With what you know, with what I just mentioned now, what will you do going forward? That's my question for you. Put in the comments below. Thank you. I appreciate you. Have a great day. This is Divine Edwards, aka Divine the Connector, connecting you to the knowledge that will empower yourself. Stay empowered, and just remember, the connection continues. Take care.